5 lights, and away we go. I think everybody got a decent start there.
That's an insane start from Koushik. Exactly what he would have wanted.
Oh, RB Ferraro, he just sneaked onto the inside and he has the P2.
Eccentric sending down the inside on Oxygen, and Oxygen is coming back alongside, putting his wheels, and he's side by side going around the outside. And I think he's got the move done. Yes, he has got the move. Oh, still there side by side, but it's got the inside line.
Hey everyone, welcome to round one, and funnily enough, the finale of season 9 of the Indian racing community, Formula One. With me, we have Deepakraj and Haphazardking for the commentary today. Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going well, man. It's a fantastic race that I was very much waiting for, and finally we have it as a finale. So we're gonna have lots of fun today.
What a finale it is. I mean, Silverstone is probably one of the tracks which the drivers look forward to racing on the most. I certainly do. But yeah, I think no one's going to feel upset that this was pushed to the last race of the season. So yeah, I think it's an exciting prospect to finish on.
Definitely. I agree with you there, Mara.
Yep, very well. So why don't we just have a look at the track video and the Hotlap for this? So Mara, why don't you just talk us through this track?
So let's see the fastest way to go around Silverstone, which apparently I know how to do, which is a bit rare. So anyway, Silverstone has 2 DRS zones. The main one is at the end of the Wellington Straight, or I think that's arguable. Both are fairly easy. And
alright then, let's go for a lap of Silverstone on board current Tier 1 champion Helium. As we come across the line, start the lap, turn 1, Abbey corner, flat, clip the inside curb, make sure not to run wide on exit. Turn 2 is again flat coming through. Turn 3, important to keep as tight to the apex as possible. Turn 4, loop section, which also consists of turn 5 as well. Very, very important traction zone coming out of there. Coming on to the Wellington straight, the first of 2 straights on this track as we come through Brooklyn's infamous corner, constantly tightening, important to get a good inside line through there, hook the wheel through the curb, Luffield corner as well. Woodcut is pretty much flat as now we head up to the infamous part of Silverstone, which is the end of sector 2 towards the beginning of sector 3. Cops corner, very hard to get absolutely right. A late turn in ensures you won't run wide on exit. Coming now for the infamous Maggots Beckett section, pretty much just a case of downshift and flick your way through these corners. Only have to really brake for Chapel and we are officially done for that. Coming into sector 3 now, down the hangar straight, DRS open as we come down to the uphill Stowe corner. Brake just at the beginning of the curb on the right hand side, hook the car in, try to not run wide on exit. Very important to keep it within track limits as we come now down to the Vale chicane, where Hamilton and a couple of drivers went up against each other, and we come across the line again round the Hamilton straight to get a lap of Silverstone.
All right, that actually was one. All right, that was one hell of a fast lap from Mara, and again an amazing lap. I think we still have some more to show on our end, or our PC boys definitely have more pace than that, and I think we'll see some of that come out today. But while we're discussing this right now, let's talk about the championship. So right now, our championship leader is Real SD with 182 points, and so is Black Sheep, currently fighting for that championship in P2. He is at 165 points. Williams have clearly won.
Keep it alive.
All right. So we just had a technical glitch there, but like I was stating, if SD finishes 6th, then Black Sheep needs P1 to win the championship. And let's say if he finishes 6th to 7th or 8th, then of course Black Sheep needs P1. And let's say if SD finishes 9th with the fastest lap, Black Sheep needs P1 to win the championship. If SD finishes 9th or lower, then Black Sheep needs to get P2 to win the championship. And let's say if SD gets 1 point, or let's say if SD gets 10th position, Black Sheep just needs 2nd. So mainly the focus here would be SD just needs to keep it above P5 to be world champion. That's all he needs to do. And in the race, we'll discuss further what happens when something occurs up. Okay, Mara, you can take over the quali laps.
Right, so who are we on board? We're now on board with Arshay, who's on an outlap at this point. I think all drivers would be looking, would be looking to probably put in a good banker nice and early, because we know how stressful track limits are when you're completely on the limit, especially on the exit of Stowe, maybe through Cops as well. So let's see Arshay coming around the final corner, starting his flying lap, and that Alpine does look good in Silverstone. I think all the cars do. Down the Hamilton straight into turn 1. So far, nice and clean. It's coming around turn 1. So let's go through predictions for the quali. I think that's tradition, isn't it? So what do you think? Who do you think is going to come around top? Do you think Black Sheep is going to go ham?
Oh, that's hard. I've never seen Black Sheep actually compete for pole before. I think looking at the group right now, I have a feeling that we might see either Helium or Aradhya Gupta to go for a pole. I think Black Sheep is a really good, racing driver. He has amazing race pace, and we'll probably see that later in the race pop up. But Black Sheep might surprise as well.
Yeah, funnily enough, I've been in the team PC with him for quite a few races, and we usually sit together when we're racing. And one thing he does, and one indication of that, or one reason for that could be, he usually sets up his car for stability and race pace and tire wear. So I'm not surprised his race trim is better than his quali trim, but at the same time, this is a crucial race for him. I have no idea whether he would be going for complete all-out pace to make sure he gets that P1, or whether he's going to go for stability. It's going to be an interesting prospect to watch.
Just to chime in on that setup conversation that you guys had, I'm not sure if you had see the weather predictions, but it looks like it's going to be a dry to wet transition in the race. So yeah, the setup is going to be a really big factor today.
Wow, if it's dry to wet, then my God, this better be the best race of the season.
Honestly, it's kind of valid right now because it's pretty bleak in London at the moment. It's been raining all night.
Yeah. I guess Mara is an expert on British weather, so he would know definitely.
I'm not an expert. I just know that it's raining.
Yeah, and so does Aradhya go. That's his first flying lap, and he's a second ahead. Ahead of Logesh at the moment. And yeah, you can see Aradhya's pace right there. He's an amazing qualifier, but tends to make small mistakes in the race. Hopefully, he can get something up here. Hopefully he can pull something out here today in the race, because he is fighting for the championship in certain aspects.
Oh, let's look at the Constructors' Championship. That's pretty much closed out, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Williams has won the championship by a margin, and we're currently with the drivers. I guess Williams was at. Give me a second. I just did it first.
But I guess that's got the teammates are fighting for the drivers' championship, right?
Yeah. The last time Williams saw this much success, I think it was 1992, I believe, 3.
Oh well, the old boys are doing it. The Mansells of this generation.
The Mansells and the Frosts.
Right, so let's go through the order so far. So we put Aradhya Gupta in P1 with 127.5. Now that does seem like banker times. There will be significant improvement. Do you expect any drivers to drop into the 125s, 126s?
I think 126s would be a big ask in these cars, because I haven't seen these cars go this quickly. Oh, and as we speak, SD just has a bit of understeer right there to Magnets. But yeah, like I stated, I haven't seen it.
He's invalidated his lap. Yep.
I guess that definitely makes sense because again, just lost his rear a bit and had to correct it and just went off the track. But yeah, like I was stating, it looks like these new cars, they're a bit slow. They're amazing in sector 1 and 3 because of the high speed nature of that sector. But in sector 2, they're a bit slow. So I think 27, high 27 is where we'll see pole sit at.
Mate, we're already lower than high 27.
I think we could see a lap
probably
time
high
that is,
26.
let's say, bordering 26, like 26.9. Maybe as the track evolves, we could see some faster times coming through. And also another interesting fact, SD is racing on a controller today, so he is slightly handicapped, you could say, in that sense. He does not have access to his hardware, so he's racing on a controller.
I'm going to tell you something. I've raced with SD on a controller and on a wheel. I haven't seen much difference between the two. The man is properly is ambidextrous from a device perspective.
Yep, I surely hope that's the case because I mean the other way it kind of spices up the battle, but I'm pretty sure ST would not want that. He would want a smooth sailing from here on because it's looking very tight in the championship fight.
Yeah, I mean, looking at how quali seems to pan out, ST just needs to keep himself in the top 5. Has he gone out yet? Yes, he has, and that's not a great time. But I guess he invalidated one of his times. So I'm not sure, but I think I can expect SD to be P6, P5 today, considering SD even with the controller has the right pace.
Can we go on board with Black Sheep? Yeah, thank you. Coming on the final corner, let's see what banker he can put in. Can he go on pole? Can he set himself up? And yes, he does. He's putting in the work for this quali session and does a 127.4. Obviously this is a very, very strong banker to have going into the second lap of his qualifying. He will obviously go into the pits. The fresh rubber is always required for Silverstone, but not a bad time for him. The 10th and a half clear.
Yeah, definitely. Considering the conversation we had, maybe you're right. Maybe he did go for a bonkers setup with quali in mind. We'll see that today. I guess we might as well look for a Black Sheep pole today.
Is he the sheep or is he the goat?
I guess we'll find it out by the end of this race. I guess. Either way, we'll just see one. I guess would it be one new person being crowned champion? I guess none of them have.
I think SD is a constructor champion in the past, not a driver champion.
Yeah, and we technically have 3 people, so we have SD, Black Sheep, and Arathya. So all 3 of them have never won a championship. So it's always nice to see a new champion being crowned. So I think to the best driver goes to Smalls, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, now we are just on board Simply YT again. Simply definitely has been one of the faster drivers to join season 1, but unfortunately because of his technical issues, he's not been able to show his pace. Let's see if he can bring something here, because I think, as far as I remember, Simply stated that his best track is Silverstone. So we might see something.
Yeah, he had a very good run to Maggots and Beckett's. The car was definitely hooked up, but went a little wide, missed the apex on the snow. It's going to cost him about 10th and a half, and he locks up. Goes a bit deep, but this is turning out to be a decent lap for, let's put him on P4 for now. I'm pretty sure he knows where he's going to improve. That was definitely, I think, not a great third sector from him. So he's going to want to improve on that very soon.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you, Mara. Oh, wait. So right now we're on board Arad here, who set... didn't he set up a purple sector too? So we might see Arad actually aiming for pole again here. He just needs to nail these last few corners. He gets the apex correct. Can he nail the final corner? I think he has. And now will he hit pole right now out here? He could have gone a bit wide, but that's
Yes,
good
he
enough.
does. Yes, he does. By 0.3 of a second, the man has just thrown down the gauntlet. He's essentially told Black Sheep, if you want this P1, if you want a chance at the championship, you're gonna have to go through me.
Definitely, I think all these boys are showing their true place right now. The gloves are off, the tires are on, and now it's just all the way, just go, full speed off. And now we have onboard Helium again, another contender for pole. Can we see Helium actually inch closer to P2 right now, or bring the fight to P1? He gets the perfect exit and he gets P2. It's 127.224. It's actually a pretty good lap. If he can nail a few more corners, he'll probably... Oh, and he goes a bit wide there.
It's an invalidate his lap, but keeps going. Let's see how this lap can turn out. He needs to put a time on the board. And now he does. Oh my god. He's turned in too early and gone wide. This is... Are these nerves? Are we seeing nerves from the real SD?
Whatever it is, let's just hope he goes into the pits quite quickly and gets ready for 2 more chances, I would say. I think he needs 2 chances to get this right. We might see him get in the pits quite quickly. And now, of course, we're on board right now, Banat, as he gets himself hooked up on the last corner, hoping to get a few more positions right now. Did he start his lap right now? I think, yeah, he did.
Yes, he started.
I mean, what are your opinions on Banat right now? What do you think Banat can pull off today?
I think Banat's always been in and around. I don't think he's ever been like in terms of the front running pace through and through. But he is always, consistent kind of driver. So, and a very, very funny guy. So I want to see him do well.
Yeah, and Amara, while we're on the subject right now, I'm pretty sure you did ask this question right at the start. Who do you think is going to get pole? But you never answered who your choice was. I mean, I gave my answer.
That's a fair point. That's where I function best, staying completely agnostic and pretending I know the right answer at the end of the quali session. But no, it definitely looks like it's going to be either Aradhya or Black Sheep at this point. That's my prediction. I'm going to go with Aradhya. He just seems to have a car that's really geared up, that's really on its front end through qualifying.
Yeah, I think
we're going about Black
guess.
Sheep. He's on flying lap as well right now.
While we're on board Black Sheep, I just want to point out one thing.
He might have aborted the lap. Yep, aborted the lap.
Look at that ERS. Does he have enough fuel to go for another one? He has a lot of ERS right now.
Yeah,
He might have.
I'm pretty sure he does.
Okay, so that would be his last one, right?
I think it might be. Might be better to go into the pits and come out with fresh tires,
with fresh tires.
Right for to make sure he's got a completely ramped up track.
So let's see what he does now. He needs to. Okay, he's going for it.
On board with the championship contender. Is this his redemption after 9 seasons of racing in IRC? So he goes through the start-finish line, starts his qualifying attempt. Fairly okay. Turn 1, 2 is fairly easy. Very late on the brakes. Beautiful turn in. I think he really got it hooked up there. Perfect through turn 2. He left a bit of track on the board, I think. He left a bit of room on the track to on throttle, but at least it wasn't too bad. Runs a bit deep in the store, but village. But you see a lot of drivers doing that. That's a typical Fernando Alonso line. And on the exit off club, he's on all the run down to cops. He did be hugging the inside there for the extra thousandths of a second that matter. We do see a yellow flag in sector 3. I think that's just a slow moving Renault. But through Maggots and Beckets, he has managed to make all 3 corners fairly well. His car doesn't seem as hooked on turn-in as Aradhya's, but not bad by any stretch of imagination. And he does go purple in sector 2. So that's a very strong lap by Black Sheep so far. Hits the apex at Stowe. What a beautiful corner. I think he set himself up to be up right there and abouts. He's got a McLaren distracting him, but can he make it across the start finish line unperturbed by dirty air? From the looks of it, yes, he's done fairly well. He spun it.
That's really unfortunate. Looks like a very good lap.
That was his championship. He needs to do yeah, he does. I don't think he doesn't have time to do a push lap and then another quali lap. So I think that's qualifying done. One corner to go. That could have elevated him right up there. I think that was a purple sector 2. I think that was on course for pole, probably a 126, because that looked like a beautiful sector 2 and 3. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think he was on it, and unfortunately, the last few corners, that's the specialty about Silverstone. It doesn't matter how good you are for the first 2 sectors. That last corner has a chance to catch you out, and if it does, unfortunately, it's over for you there.
Couldn't agree more. Like, if you look at other tracks, it's probably a tale of 3 sectors, but with Silverstone, it's all about the mini sectors.
Yep. By the way, Mara, you just gave me a flashback when you said a slow-moving Renault. I was like, what? Are you back in 2020?
Well, or you could be back in the last race with Alonso.
Definitely. Yeah, but again, unfortunate for Black Sheep, but like I said, he generally has a lot of race pace, and we might see him get up through the ranks, and it's all about racing here. Nobody gets points for quali. It's all about your race pace. It's all about your race strategy, what you end up doing here.
Across the season, I think Black Sheep's had a lot of bad luck through the season with DNFs here and there, or incidents with certain drivers on lap 1 maybe. So I definitely think that I think he might have made it across the line for a second lap. I'm not sure.
Is he gonna hit pole? Arata gets 127.63. That's actually good, but not something that we were expecting. I think we were expecting 126. Can someone else spoil his day right now? Can Helium bring it up to pole right now? Let's just stay on board Helium for a while. As we see him approaching. Oh, goes very wide there. Yep, that's
I think that's pretty much. Let's go on board Parry. Yeah, there we go.
He has also invalidated his lap, so yeah, it's done for him.
That's fine. Qual is over. Unless Simply can do anything, yeah, qual is over.
Unless Simply can improve by a second, which never seems likely. So I'm going to call it an Aradia pole. Helium in P2 for now. Let's wait for the drivers to finish up. But crucially, Black Sheep is in P4 and Real SD is in P11. He has had a bit of a mess up of qualifying. I think he's invalidated all of his laps. And we've seen drivers do this before. We've seen drivers come back from 23 points behind before, I think. But this would be unprecedented in a 13-man grid. This man needs to have a decent start and just make sure he avoids any incidents, any debris down to turn 1.
Definitely. I mean, we just saw this last race in Brazil. SD struggling with the traffic that came across, having damage, dealing with a mess of a race because of one bad start. And now he's starting from behind. And that's just gonna wrap up all over on SD, and the pressure's on. The pressure's mounted. Whether he can maintain it, that's more important here. But
and most importantly, SD will need to make his overtakes before the wet weather kicks in. If this is a dry to wet transition, we know how difficult it is to overtake in Silverstone in the wets, because this is not enough track. Unless drivers are very creative. Only probably the best drivers do tend to find a way, and SD is among that. So he's going to have to make his moves very, very early in the race.
I agree with you. And looking at his quali laps, I think he has definitely a dry setup in mind with that setup, right? Because you could see him understeering his way through some corners, getting invalidation. That only tends to happen when you have a sort of a setup that is not downforce heavy. So he's probably going to want to get his overtakes done before anything even pops up.
Yeah, I actually think it was not a factor of understeer, but he essentially messed up the angle of the corner a bit for himself, especially if you look at cops. If you turn in early, it doesn't mean you're going to stay narrower. If you turn in early, you're essentially making the angle of entry wider, so you're more likely to run wide. So yeah, but either way, I think it could be more of a factor of him driving on a controller and just getting used to the inputs at this point, input sensitivity.
True, that definitely could be the case as well. So again, one thing I just noticed, I have never seen Parry race before with us? Has he a new contender in
It's
IRC?
just Moto who's just playing a prank.
Oh, okay, fine. I was like, I wondered
We
who
had known
that
that
is.
sooner. If only we had known that sooner, that would have been a nice talking point for the qualifying. But okay,
Yeah.
Barry OP got his day in the sun. Now it's back to Moto.
Yeah.
So let's talk strategies. Deepak, when abouts do you think the wet weather is going to turn up?
Deepak? I guess he's not here, but let's
I'm
talk
back.
about strategy. Perfect.
Deepak, when abouts do you think the wet weather is going to come in? What's your lap prediction for that? Or what information do you have on that?
I'm not 100% sure. The telemetry showed up plus 30 minutes for wet, so I guess halfway around.
Oh wow, that's very early. We might see a lot of drivers starting on the softs. If it was a bit later, it'd probably be wise to start on the mediums and just take your mediums till then. But if you're only going to lap 6 or 7, it's definitely going to be a better chance if you start on the softs and to hit the transition much earlier, right? So we're gonna have a flat out start. We have 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights into the season finale. The 5 lights go off for the last time in season 9. It looks like a good start from Helium, a good start from Aradhya Gupta. They've maintained positions. Black Sheep slots in behind Moto. And there seems to be a car who's retired, and there's already a safety car. I think it's Ashley who's had an incident. Yeah, he's had an incident on the start finish straight before turn 1. It's I'd like to see what happened there, but that's a shame.
Is this a virtual safety car? I think so. Yeah, it doesn't look like a safety car.
It says that VS. I can just see. Deepak, can you confirm?
Unfortunately, I can't confirm at this moment. I think it might be a
So,
VSC.
VSC.
But,
I think.
yeah.
So my only reason to think it's a VSC because I can't see a safety car blimp on the map. That normally means it's a VSC, and you can see sector 1, 2, 3 all being yellow flagged. So it's a VSC at the moment. It just neutralizes the race. So the good thing is most of our drivers are together at the moment. So the VSC is just going to make things more interesting at the restart.
Can we acknowledge the drivers' tire choices for a second?
Definitely.
We were talking softs or mediums, but none of our thick brains actually consider the hard tires.
Yeah, but again, I think the hard is a bit too much. I think I would have considered mediums here, but it looks like everyone is probably predicting that the rain is going to hit very late in the race, and by that time, with the raining, and Helium gets a bit of a knock back.
And Aradhya gets spun around again.
Helium is in P1.
And Black Sheep's taken out as well.
Out.
Oh my god.
This is what I mean by bad luck for Black Sheep. He just always gets caught in the...
I think he has 0 wings at the moment. Oh, and that's not something.
Aradhya's lost the championship. What is happening?
Okay, let's slow down a bit. Okay, let's just count the drivers who've had incidents right now, because I can't keep track. Helium had a bit of a knock on to Aradhya, which eventually led into, I think, Moto going right through and hitting the back of Aradhya Gupta there. Then we had Black Sheep involved in that incident. Simply and my crack, I don't know who that is, but I'm guessing.
I think it was Simply and Banath, I think.
It was definitely
Banath,
Banath had an incident as well. Black Sheep all the way down. I think Black Sheep's lost all of his front wing as well. And that's going to put both the championship contenders down in P10 and P11. This might just be, folks, the championship for SD, provided he can bring the car home safely, because it seems unlikely that Black Sheep can come all the way back from half a lap down almost to take the win.
Yeah, this is gonna be like flashback for Aradhya Gupta, because the last season as well he was going into Silverstone, it was the finale the last season, and oh wait, never mind, there is a battle ongoing and King James is passing 2 cars like they're not even there on track.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what that is, but King James definitely has a straight line setup, because my god, the pace difference between all these cars have been between the Aston Martin and those Mercedes was insane. But yeah, let's just get back into the race. We'll see what happens with the championship later. As mentioned by Mara, SD is looking in contention to winning this championship, but it's all up to Black Sheep now to bring it back if he can. Again, we're on board King James, who's in an amazing position, P3 right now, just behind Moto, who was involved in that Lapan incident. And again, breaking very late. You can see Moto on those hard tiles, struggling a bit to get those in the prime temperatures, and King James benefiting for it, now having DRS down towards Brooklyn's. They go. Will he go for a move? He's getting closer and closer. Will he get for the switchback line? No, he's just breaking late, and now Lokesh is going on the inside. It looks like King James might lose a position to Lokesh. Lokesh gets a better exit down towards Stowe. And we see again the Mercedes just sticking on the inside line, gets the move done. An amazing move from Mercedes.
You don't want to be on the outside of a Mercedes at that corner.
True. Yeah. And again, an amazing move. And let's see if again King James can challenge him. We might see Moto though lose 2 positions in once as both of these drivers get closer and closer. King James again showing that straight line speed that Aston Martin goes around the outside. Oh, and both of them were extremely close. I wonder if there is any contact. King James switched is on the inside line, gets a perfect run down towards the final corners and gets a position. Then Lokesh loses a position to Mike Crack as well. And wow, it looks like that was definitely some contact between Lokesh there that unfortunately made his car a bit swervy there. Losing positions.
Apologies for the bad camera angles. I just couldn't pick the right broadcast angle there. It just hit some really bad angles there. I mean, I didn't want to see the wing when the guys are going side by side, but yep, that's what we are served up with. So yeah.
Is Moto without a wing? Can you check that once?
I think he has a damaged wing. I think.
Yeah, the left wing is definitely damaged. I think his end plate is gone.
Yep.
Yep, that's definitely.
Yeah.
I think that was as a result of his contact with Radha Gupta at into the final chicane, sorry. But he seems to be holding on very well. I think the lack of that front wing has given him some extra extra straight line speed.
Yeah, but again, you can see that normally when you have wing damage and you're trying to go long with that wing damage, you'll definitely rack up some penalties. And that's something that, and we see Mike Crack just go wide there, and Lokesh gets a beautiful run on him. Again, something that you just don't want to mess up, but I guess something that tends to happen with Maggots and Beck. It's such a demanding corner for these cars, and sometimes you can see those slip-ups pop up.
Well, this seems like just a quick thing, Deepak. I'm guessing we don't have the driver telemetry for today.
We do have the telemetry running.
Okay, alright, that's fine. So I guess the stream can see it.
I guess probably at the time some of the drivers might not have enabled telemetry and we might have been using the fast stream. But
no, I think it's not there on the Discord stream because you're sharing the game, right? You're not sharing OBS.
Oh yeah, the OBS. There is another feed as well if you check on the virtual cam.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
The virtual cam is not working, so that's okay. We're fine.
Contact there, they've been side by side. It's trying to pull him more on the outside. He's got the better tires at this occasion, but Moto still hangs it on the inside, pushes him onto the space, and he holds on to the position for now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Are we getting Leclerc and Hamilton vibes or something from this? Because damaged wing, hard tires.
It does have quite a lot of similarities, that's for true.
Kudos to Helium though. He's taken advantage of this entire mess and it's just completely broken almost 10 seconds from the group.
Yeah, I guess that's exactly what's happening because Moto is being a DRS train at this stage and stopping anyone from overtaking him. It just shows the skill at which he's operating is a little higher than our boys here, at least in terms of these medium runners. Oh, and again, King James gets a move down. Lokesh checking for a move on the inside. Oh, there's no space there. They've collected each other.
Again.
Heavy contact between these drivers.
I think King James had a bit of a moment on the slow exit that kind of pushed Moto to the side, which meant Lokesh had a run on the inside, and that did not end really well for any of them. As a result of that, Banat moves up to P4.
Definitely Banat having an okay race considering that he's back in position to what he was actually fighting, but Yeah, definitely. As far as I saw, I think King James turned in on Logesh, and that's what started the contact. Is that correct?
I think it was I think it was Logesh a bit late on the brakes. I think James definitely left a car with, and it was his corner, so he left a car with.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of an awkward entry for Logesh as well, because 3 wide into that corner is always going to be tough. And it was a very tight inside line as well. So, also what didn't help is, again, the broadcast camera angles are not really great. You see Blackhead was popped in the fastest lap, so he's definitely in the rush to get back, but it seems like a long way out. He is definitely going to be praying for the rain to kick in, so that will be some variability in the race.
I just realized Black Sheep pitted because now he's on medium tires. We missed that completely. Both ST and Black Sheep have pitted.
Yeah. So
ST's had 2 stops.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Unfortunately for ST, it didn't work out as best as he planned, but hopefully. Oh, and we see again Moto getting a penalty. That is what I mentioned, when you get damage on your front wing. Penalties are something that will back up, and now we see that happening again. Now it's just Moto versus Bharat. Again, it just looks like the field is spread up a bit because of some incidents. They've just spread out now. And can we go on Akash Sonawale? He's very close to.
I think that's the board car that's running around. These guys are not in the session at the moment. So yeah, they will be running together for some time.
Yeah, then let's just go on to Bharat and things.
So Banat is on. Can you enable the tire? Yeah, thank you. So Banat is on a set of hard tires, so same as Moto, but crucially, I think Moto picked up further damage in the incident between King James and Logesh, because I think he got sandwiched between the Aston and the Mercedes. He might have picked up slightly more damage. I'm not sure. Like, I'll need to confirm that, but definitely seems he definitely seems to be on it, and that's just a testament to Moto's skill, really, because to pull a car which has a shit ton of damage and keep stay in front of other tier 1 drivers for so long is extremely commendable.
100%. I mean, first of all, in this game, it's like the wing damage doesn't impact you that much, but still, it's gonna cost you valuable downforce, and through the corners, he will be losing some time. But he's still keeping on to it. He's resisting the pressure from Banat, who is his former teammate from the last season. So Banat will definitely know a few tricks that Moto uses. So let's see how he uses that against him.
Definitely, we see 2 previous teammates fighting against each other, gloves off. And the good thing to note right now is Bharat and Moto both are on the hard tires. King James is probably the one suffering at this stage because he's on the mediums and he's going to lose some of that performance later in the race. And we see these new tires, they aren't as durable as the previous ones, and we've seen that they can lose performance quite quickly. So it's very important for James to go for a move, and he has. He's pulled out on the left, and he's gotten the move done down Brooklands. And will Bharat try to go for a move on Luckfield? Will he try to sneak a move on the inside? He's getting closer and closer to King James, but unfortunately James gets a better exit, and now he has to work from there. And again, he's hunting Moto once again on those medium tires. Of course, the medium tires has a lot of pace at this stage, but we might see, will Moto yield against King James, or will King James just send one down the inside? Again, they're going towards through Maggots and Beckett's. Mara, can you take over this Braintree racing?
Absolutely. On the exit of Chapel, we see King James 2 tenths behind. I don't think Moto's going to be able to keep him behind for much longer, because we've seen how slow that wing damage makes him through stow. That rhymed, I didn't intend to, but it's fair enough. But he manages to stay ahead. He must have a huge battery pack, bigger than everyone else's, definitely. No puns on innuendos intended, but he's done very, very well. He's to keep drivers behind. Either he's running a very low downforce, or the lack of front wing has given him a lot of straight line speed. But either way, you wouldn't expect him to keep behind a driver with a full front wing on hard tires, as well as a driver with a full front wing on medium tires, who's definitely got at least half a second in the bag on him on pure pace right now. So into the second overtaking spot, I think he's too far behind. He's 4 tenths behind. I don't think he's going to be able to make it by the end of the straight. So He has to
Mara.
wait for half a lap
Oh,
more.
that's very close.
Can I ask a question here?
Yeah.
If when Moto pits for his pit stop, what do you think? Should he change the front wing? Should he get that 5 seconds worth of damage on his pit stop to make sure he has better race pace?
Honestly, if he is changing at the wets, it all depends on his gaps, right? If he's changing directly at the wets, no, then I wouldn't, because in the wet.
Side by side into this corner, and he has made the move. That's very
Moto
bold.
has to back out there. He has to back out there. There's no other option for him. But well played by King James. That was an incredible overtake. Kudos to him.
Oof. And now we see again Bharat going for the move on the inside. It seems Moto's lost 2 positions down in the last few corners. And will Moto be able to hang on to these guys? That's a bigger question, because we've seen Moto defend like a mad genius, but he's unable to sort of stay within the dirty of other cars. So we might see him lose a few tenths here and there. But again, let's see what happens. Let's see what Moto can bring to this race right now. Because that podium position at the moment still has Moto's name on it.
Also, crucially, he has the time penalty as well to consider, so he needs to be a bit careful with the track limits, kind of more penalties. But I think Black Sheep is closing up on Simply right now. These are crucial positions that he needs to gain. Black Sheep looks to be very strong at this moment.
Yeah, and again, Black Sheep has to be very, very careful, because he needs to be very particular with how he overtakes who. And some races are aggressive, some races aren't. Simply is definitely an aggressive racer, so he has to be careful with Simply. He has to acknowledge which place he needs to go for an overtake. I think for Simply, the best place to go for an overtake would be down in Brooklands, and he's currently approaching him. He will have DRS. He's just a few tenths off Simply's position, 3 tenths. He's getting closer and closer and closer. Will he be able to put towards one side? No, unfortunately. He's just a bit far back for that. But will he be able to go for a move down into Stowe?
I think the best thing Simply could do right now is actually probably, if I were him, is probably let Black Sheep through, because Black Sheep definitely has the measure of pace, and there's a 25-second gap, so he could use the DRS to get pulled along and get reconnected to the rest of the group. So, but either way, we always love to see good fights. Gloves off. So the McLaren and the Williams. Factory not too far.
I mean, both are rivals at one stage of their history. Both were fighting for championships. So yeah, it's good to see them fight once again. But again, Black Sheep.
Okay, that's a bit interesting. Still side by side, it's not over yet.
Simply still hanging around on the inside, forces Black Sheep a bit wide there and still regains the position. Like we said, Simply is an aggressive driver. He won't give up that position without a fight. Black Sheep still getting closer and closer through these last few corners. He's in the split stream of Simply YT. One of the good things of these, and he goes for a move on the inside. He just goes for a dive. I wouldn't say dive, and Simply still fighting it. They're still going side by side. This is quite amazing racing.
What this is crucially done is put Black Sheep right onto the back of Simply, going onto the back straight. So let's see whether he can pull it off. He's still not close enough.
Yeah, definitely, but they are getting closer and closer. But Simply is just holding on to dear life right now. One crucial aspect of
I think King James might have had an incident. He has dropped down in position. Helium has gone to the pit.
If you look at the track map, you can see the slow moving Aston in Sector 3. So yeah, that's definitely King James. Sad to see his race doing very well.
I think that's Region. I believe that's Region being overtaken.
And Black Sheep has another spin. That's really bad.
Yeah,
honestly don't know how these cars can spin it on the exit of club. Because that car at the exit of club, you're going at what, 160, 170 miles an hour.
I think Black Sheep has called it quits.
Black Sheep retiring.
Yeah, I think he's just had it. He's just had it. I think. The incidents.
I guess that means the series champion of IRC here. Not the way we wanted the championship to end, but I guess that was made official for ST. He has been crowned World Champion. Williams takes constructors.
That was
Yep.
very anticlimactic, but I do understand Black Sheep's situation there. I mean, it was already down to the ropes kind of a race, and that spin was just the last nail on the coffin for him.
Yeah, definitely, I do agree with that. An unfortunate race for Black Sheep. One hell of a contender here today, and probably would have done a lot better considering if he wouldn't been affected by that lap one crash. Unfortunately.
So Helium had pitted a bit earlier. I wonder what happened to him, because I think he might have stopped a little earlier, because I can see the clouds that are starting to set in. So we could see the transition coming in soon. I mean, so far I don't think we got any telemetry alerts that there's going to be weather change, but I think it could be coming in soon.
Yeah, I do see the clouds you're referring to, but I wonder if they're gonna arrive a bit late. Because again, all these drivers are on hards right now. They'll go long. If they want, they can extend the stint, but only if they feel like the wet tires would make any difference. And you know that when the rains tend to pour down on track, the first two laps are barely an effect. It's only after maybe lap 3, lap 4 that you start feeling the effect of the rain. So that's something important to note as well.
Yeah, right. But let's see. I mean, it's only when it comes to what's going to happen. But yeah, this is a very anticlimactic race, I would say.
Yeah, definitely an anticlimactic race. You're right. Logesh currently on Akash Sonomane's. I guess Akash Sonomane's
AI car.
Yeah,
not much to see here.
Yeah, I guess not good races for some of these drivers. A lot of these drivers actually had an incident that caused them to drop down. I think we had a lot of incidents in the first few laps. Unfortunately, that's what created these gaps in the first place. But yeah, hopefully once the rain hits, we'll see something more. And we see Moto come into the pits. Can we actually go on good Moto? Because I want to see if he changes his front wing or not.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting point. And I think these guys think that the rain might be a bit too late, because they're already going into pit stops and they're going on to another set of tires. So I guess they're convinced that the rain is not going to be much of an effect.
No wing change.
I think he's changing.
There is wing
he's
change. Yeah. Wow, the angle is not great.
Yeah, you're blocked right by the pillar there, so not really helping.
I think King James having an incident there sort of released Moto into having that pit stop, because if you think about it, now Moto definitely believes he has the pace to overtake Bernard, but as a result of King James falling back, he's not in contention anymore, so Moto can afford a few extra seconds in a pit stop.
Oh, definitely. I think you're right there with the strategy. I think Moto definitely understands he has a lot more pace to offer when he has a wing on his end, and that's what he's done. He's gone for it. Let's see if it pays off in the end.
Exactly, and most importantly, let's also keep a track of the tire differences, because Bernard will have to switch onto the same tires as Moto, whereas King James will need to go on to hard tires or softs. Bernard could also go to hards to softs, but I don't think that's a viable strategy from my perspective. And I think that is definitely the reason Moto's gone for a wing change here.
Yeah, and more importantly, now we see King James into the pits, as well as Mike Crack, who's been leading our race. I never thought I'd ever say that, but okay. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Mike Crack is 8-cell, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it is. I was just going to say.
leading the race. Damn. Okay,
Yeah.
This is one hell of a race for 8-cell then. And definitely his best chance to bag a win here, considering that Moto is definitely far back compared to all the other drivers. He's almost 20, 30. Wait, just give me a second. I guess he's 16 seconds behind 8-cell right now, right?
Sorry, I was just chatting with Black Sheep. He's not happy about the standard of racing right now from this race. Obviously, from his perspective, he's had a few incidents, but obviously drivers are going to be upset or definitely not going to see the lighter side of things once they've had incidents. But yeah, he's definitely not feeling too happy about today's race, and he's actually going to be on his way to my place in a few minutes for a few drinks to sort it out.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with Blackstone on this one. The standard of racing we see today, we know our Tier 1 boys, we know how good they are, but yeah, today has not been great in terms of the incidents we've had. Moto almost losing the car, going for the fastest lap, but yeah, as my point being up, and is he going slow?
No, he's actually going in a proper pace, and quickly has overtook King James, who was still warming up his hard tires. So he had an easy move, and he's now up on the move.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, definitely. I thought for a second his engine blew up or something. And we see Moto definitely getting the fastest lap, again showing his pace at the moment. And Eitzel gets a 3-second penalty. More importantly, now Helium. And has Helium pitted yet? I don't think he has, right?
I think he has made a stop.
He has.
So Helium is currently leading
Never
the race
mind.
at this moment. And gets a 3-second penalty. Yeah, I guess this is Silverstone, the track where you get the most penalties, apart from Mexico, that is.
Yeah, Mexico, Canada, Silverstone are always quite difficult. Silverstone actually isn't, if you think about it, it's just about 2 corners where it happens. But the problem is, on heavy fuel, those 2 corners become understeery as hell, right? You've got Cops and you've got Stowe, where pretty much all the drivers are getting their and maybe turn 1 as well, where all drivers are getting their track limit warnings. So yeah, it's odd, like it's odd to see this happening though in Silverstone, because all you need to do is probably do an extra downshift or something and keep your foot floored when you're going through Cops. But with Stowe, yes, I do understand that with the game is very strict about the lines you can't cross, and no matter how much you lift off the throttle, it's still going to give you a warning.
Mm-hmm. One important thing I noted, Helium just put the fastest lap. Helium broke Moto's fastest lap on the hard tires, which means that both of them are currently sharing fastest laps now. Moto as well as just now set up another fast lap. I wonder if it's a 1:29.
Yeah.
Can we check that quickly, Deepak? If we put up a 1:29. Yeah, at this stage with those mediums looking, with those mediums looking amazing for pace. I think 1:29 is expected from Moto, but I wonder if he's going to stretch out those mediums till the end. What do you think about that, Para?
Yeah, I mean, there's no more pit stops coming in. This taking more than 1 pit stop definitely not the optimal strategy. But yeah, I think the guys on the mediums towards the end definitely are on the best strategy. We saw that from the esports event as well. So I'm not. But that at the same time, I think Helium's got a huge gap. Can you see the tires again, Deepak? Thank you. So Helium's got a huge gap. He's definitely not going to be troubled at all. Bernard's going to come on potentially behind Eitzel and in front of Moto, but that's going to be an interesting fight to watch. I don't know where Eitzel's come from, but he's just suddenly doing really well. He's I think he just slipped through the radar. I think he pushed through when James and Logesh had that incident, but now he's doing very well. I completely didn't see him go through. Like watching him in front, like I can't remember when he made it through, but evidently he's done well for himself.
And he has
you're
been
right.
keeping his nose clean away from all the incidents, and if tripping over each other, he just sneakily made his way past. Yeah, he's definitely keeping it clean and just showing how much clean racecraft can get you through.
And now watch him spin as we get the commentator scores.
I really don't think so. I hope he gets a good finish, because he has been struggling with results recently. So let's hope he sticks out to this.
Yeah, but Mara, you were definitely right there. With the Logesh and King James incident, Eitzel was able to slip through, both Moto and all 3 of them, and retain that position for P2 right now. And that looks like a good position with, Moto and HCL and Helium, but the more important fact is Banath is still out there, stretching those hards till the end, and I wonder when he will decide to go on to the mediums, or is he planning to go on to the soft by the end of it?
I think Banath is probably betting on the rain.
Definitely. I mean, even if the rain pops up, would you think it's better to go on to the intermediates probably this late in the race? If it pops up within the next 3-4
still don't
races?
know, but there have been few instances where rain, especially if you remember the last season, Tier-3 boys, they had a lot of wet weather races, and one of those races it was like rain in the last 2 laps. I think it was Spa, I guess. So the first lap they all stayed out, but the second lap it was absolutely horrible, and a lot of people retired on slicks. They couldn't just handle the grip level. So we all know how the grip level changes in this. Like one corner you'll be in bone dry track, the next corner you'll be in a water puddle. So the change here can be quite drastic. If these guys figure it out properly, I guess they have to win a bit.
Can we go on board realistically, please? He's in the battle with. Yeah, there we go. He was just. I think Simply and him were just swapping places there. Now it's one Williams tried with Simply and spun. Now let's see what the second Williams can do.
Yeah, about that, about the previous battle with Simply and Black Sheep, I think we forgot to acknowledge how well Simply is defending there. He was holding the inside line, and he was just not conceding, just not making Black Sheep fight that much easier. That he was, I think, pretty well he did everything very well until. I mean, I would have definitely been interested to watch the battle, but now we see SC is charging through right ahead using the DRS to his advantage, and yeah, I don't think Simply is gonna fight this much that hard.
Yeah, I was about to say Deepak knows all about hugging the inside line.
Simply's going to come right back at him. Simply's going to come right back at him because Simply is on fresh medium tires. I don't think this was SD making the move on Simply over Simply actually getting re-overtaken with SD. No, I think Simply was going for just overtook SD, and then SD got the place right back because of DRS. But Simply's on fresh medium tires, and we know he's a fairly quick driver, so you just look at the amount of pace he has on SD through these corners. He's not deploying his ERS. He's got 96%. Oh, there he goes. Halfway through the straight after SD's. Oh my god, look at that McLaren go. He's got so much more pace than him.
And so much more grip as well, but SD hangs around. I wonder if there was any contact between these two drivers.
I can see a few raindrops now, so let's see.
Oh, that's perfect. Let's see. Is it coming for Bharat right now? Is it the showers that he's expecting or a win? I wonder if the rain actually pours on and it's extremely difficult and Bharat gets the win. That will be one of the best strategy calls he's ever made in his life.
Yep, definitely.
Oh yeah, droplets. I can see him as well. Yep, it's coming down. I think we might see the shift within 3 laps considering this, but yeah, let's see if Bharat can hold on for the next 3 laps. Yeah.
But now since not a lot is happening on track, I'll go back to a point that I was about to say a lot earlier. Aradhya Gupta was taken out in a very similar manner the last season as well. Do you remember last season she was, what a pesty that just goes straight.
I think he was looking at a different screen. He didn't turn the car.
I think probably he's watching the Manchester City match, Manchester United match. Probably that
I think SD just started his parade lap a bit quickly. He's already showing his hands to the fans. He's like, yes, I won.
So yeah, like I was saying, the last season the Tier-1 finale was in Silverstone, and I think Aradhya had Aradhya was taken out of a good championship contention in Cobb's corner, so he'll be having a lot of those deja vu moments right now. Tier-1 flashbacks again, but yeah, he's going to be a bit disappointed, that's for sure. And he's driving to the pit right now.
Oh wow. Is he going to go for the
intermediates? I think it's a bit early, isn't it?
It will be very early.
But I guess his heart has died, I guess.
And Bharat is also coming in.
We see another driver coming in, Banath. Okay.
Are they going for the softs?
Let's see.
I think
they might know something that
makes more sense.
But it's a bit late. They wasted a lot of time on their soft tires.
ST is going for softs.
Yeah, it is softs. It feels like going for the softs would be smarter. Let's see what Bharat does. Soft or is soft? Yep. Yeah, I guess by the time the rain comes, the softs will still have good enough temperature to last against those medium runners. So that's what Bharat is hoping for. Important thing to note: will Banat go ahead of Moto? Moto, this is the
Moto's
point.
gone ahead.
Moto's gone ahead. Yep.
He's got at least 3 or 4 seconds on Banat, I think, if not
So
more.
now it's all about whether that rain can come in quickly for those medium tires to actually start losing pace. Because I think if it started to rain, I'd rather be on the softs than the mediums, in my opinion. Oof. Those cold tires are catching. I just caught Banat there for a second. He had massive wheel spin. I believe that was club, right?
Yep. But let's just do some advanced mathematics here. I say advanced because I'm stupid, but the gap between soft and medium tires when they're fresh is about 8 to 9 tenths of a second. A gap on about 10 lap used medium tires, or 8 to 10 laps used medium tires with fresh soft tires is probably well above that. It's probably in the range of 1.2 seconds or so, right? 1.1 to 1.2 seconds minimum. And that is exactly the gap and the time remaining between Banat and Moto. So we're going to have an interesting prospect on our hands here to see whether Banat can pull it back. But I will be perfectly honest, I don't think it's a straight tire fight itself. I think Moto does have the edge on pace. So I don't think Banat's going to catch it. But if we had two drivers driving at the same level, this is the perfect gap to see. So let's see what Banat can do in the next 3 laps. 4 laps.
Yeah,
This
definitely.
next lap is going to be very much representative because the previous lap was more like a warm-up lap, you could say, because the tires are still very cold and it needs to get up to temperature. So this lap is going to be very much representative of what he could do. And crucially, the rain seems to be increasing slightly a little bit. I can see a few more droplets. So this is going to have a bit of a bearing, I feel like.
Yeah, I think the last lap is where we're going to see some people slide off a bit. And that's when you'll see, some of the better racers pop up a bit more there, because it's very difficult to maintain these cars on slicks in wet weather conditions, right? So I think that's where we'll see someone actually go off, and we see Simply going in the pit lane. I wonder what he's planning to do. Is he actually aiming for the softs to steal the fastest lap?
Might be good with intermediates. Well, the softs still look
Let's
fairly
see.
gripped up. I don't think the intermediates are the way
Yeah,
to go. It's
softs,
soft
yeah.
tires. But yeah, Banat
Yeah.
seems to have only closed up 3 or 4 tenths. Oh, sorry. Actually, he's closed up about half a second. And while that might be okay, that's still not good enough. It's just not good enough.
Yep. And the call to get those wing changed was actually a decent call for Moto, as you see him.
Oh,
Oh,
he
and
goes
Banat
eager on
loses it.
throttle.
Yep. Oh, nice
Oh.
360. Well,
He does his best Charles Leclerc imitation or Alonso imitation.
He was just warming up his tires, lad.
Yeah, you want to. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
It looks like the rain is pouring.
Oh, Moto's also
yeah,
struggling.
it's catching everyone off now. It's actually raining now. Okay, you can see the droplets on the car as well. It's starting to rain. I wouldn't say heavily, but it's starting to rain.
DRS is still not disabled. Unless I missed it. So, it's definitely not the crossover point yet. I think it's just catching drivers out.
I think it's just that the temperatures are starting to drop probably and the grip level is not the same. So I think that's kind of catching a few drivers here and there, but let's see who has a better control skill set to bring it back home.
Yeah, this is. Oh my, this better pan out well for some of these drivers. I wonder who's gonna get caught up with this, because this thing can catch you up, and this is just the 24th lap. We still will have 2 more laps of these conditions pop up in here, and yep, it's just about keeping it clean now. It's about keeping it slow and clean and methodical.
Couldn't agree more. I think the race is pretty much done. If you look at the gaps between the drivers, they're 12, 11, 9, 5, 7, 43, 6. So we definitely have a race which is pretty much wrapped up. I think
Yeah,
enough race is disabled. As we saw with Banat over there, yes, he did a perfect 360, but even if you spin, you have a margin to get back on track and pull away before the other driver catches you.
Definitely, you do. But what I'm thinking is one thing we might see catch these drivers off might be like a DNF, wherein they slipped up, let's say at the last 2 turns, and they straightly gone into a wall and destroyed the car. That could still will happen, and Bharat was lucky to avoid that because he had a barrier on the right. So it's all about keeping it clean, and we see our first intermediate tire put on as Lokesh goes on to intermediates.
Isn't Lokesh AI? Like, isn't he not
he's
in
racing,
session?
he's racing. I think it was
He's racing.
Rijin and Akash Nane who were
Akash
the AI
Nane,
cars. Lokesh is racing.
Well, one thing for sure is the fastest lap's going to be maintained. No one's beating that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we have 1 lap to go. The race is pretty much over unless Helium completely cocks it up. So let's talk about the season before the drivers come back and cross the line. It's been a long season. It's definitely been a lot of ups and downs. It's a new first season on the 2022 game. This season took a long time to get going due to the issues with the game and stuff like that. How do you think it went? Which was your favorite race of the season, if you remember? If you don't remember, that's fine. And what do you think needs to be done for the next season of racing? People, leave your comments in the chat as well if you have any suggestions for us. Let's hear what these guys have to say.
I think I'm gonna let Deepak speak first because I've not been doing many Tier 1 streams. Deepak, you can go ahead first.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same for me as well. I've been mostly doing Tier 20 streams, and Tier 1 the last few weeks I've been helping you guys out. I think the last race in Brazil was quite interesting and very enthralling race. I think even the Singapore race was quite good. I think it showed a lot of good racecraft in those tracks. So yeah, it's definitely a bit disappointing that the finale was a bit of a downer, but it doesn't take away the great racing that we've seen through the season. And of course, great work for the coordinator also to get this all going. So yeah,
absolutely.
it's really
and
a good teamwork.
Just to touch upon that for a second, this season has been probably our closest season. Yes, we might have had faster drivers like Myth and Eccentric in the past, but if you look at just Helium, first of all, Helium comes across the line to take the win pretty much right now, so kudos to him. Good job, Helium. But just to get back to what I was saying, if the tiniest mistake, the tiniest drop off in pace is the difference between P1 and P6 or P7, and that just shows how well matched this grid is. And for me, this makes it one of the greatest seasons in IRC history, purely because of how the margins of error and the gaps between the drivers is just incredible. So and ST's really taken the fight to everyone. The only thing that I probably would need to think that drivers need to work on is maybe do a little more unranked, so that when there are 3 or 4 cars in the span of about a few car lengths, there's a few incidents. But I mean, that's what racing's all about, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a bit surprised by seeing those incidents today because these guys have been racing quite good on the last few rounds. It was a bit of an odd one out this round, I would say.
That is very true. I think this season has been, both in real life and for IRC, has been a very, very competitive and very respectful season between the drivers. But obviously, I think when the conditions get extra tricky, the experience does show. Not all of these drivers have been racing for seasons and seasons, and obviously you can't go through every scenario. So it does definitely cause a few incidents, and obviously none of these drivers are doing anything intentionally. It's just unfortunate circumstances. But that brings us, and I'm just going to close up the race here, guys, if that's okay. That brings us to a close of the final race, or the first race of Season 9. And it's been an incredible season. There's been a lot of drivers through the season. 24 drivers plus, if I'm not wrong, judging by a few switches as well. And the dust has settled. 7 or 8 incredible drivers have gone up against it for the title. The title decider came down to Black Sheep and SD. SD has forever been the second fiddle, the Bottas to the Hamilton, the Robin to the Batman. But if he comes across the final corner to become the Indian champion for the first time ever, and this man has weathered it out from Season 1. He's been a constructor champion in the past. He's seen his teammates win drivers' championships in the past and always been the recipient of team orders. But this season, he comes out in front to be the Indian champion and officially go into the Hall of Fame. This man, SD, deserves a huge standing ovation. He's Mr. Consistency in IRC and has truly shown that. Yes, he may have finished 10th today, but that is not representative of the entire season. The wins, the consistent podiums, the points. And kudos to him. I'm extremely happy for the boy.
Yep, we
Yeah,
all
man.
are. He's one of the really good drivers that we have in the community. Always fun racing with him. And finally him getting his milestone, it's really a good thing to see. I'm pretty sure everyone has the same feeling about that.
Yeah, definitely. I think I agree with you, Mara. Very well wrapped up there with ST's story and an amazing drive, an amazing championship, and he very well deserves it.
I'm really happy for him. Happy to see this. I mean, we could talk about drivers of the day and stuff like that, but how does that matter when you have a world champion being crowned, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
I mean, people might say, these finished up 10th here today, but it's not just a one race championship. It's multiple races, and he's shown his superiority in other races. He's won so many. He's been consistent in so many others, and that is at the end of the day what makes you a champion.
Precisely. You see a lot of drivers finishing first and then spinning out in the next race, but you see ST always there and thereabouts. So that is definitely one of the reasons he is champion. Very simply.
Yep. And now we're going on board to our podium reviews, right? Podium
Yes, we are.
reviews.
Yes, we are. First
All
of
right,
all,
so then go ahead.
Okay, I'll kick them off then. So great race, everyone. Amazing. We'll get to the world champion in a few minutes time, but before I do that, let's just finish up with the race results from the Silverstone Grand Prix. So Helium, congratulations on a great race. That was a dominant performance. I think obviously it all unraveled on lap 1 at the end of lap 1. Walk us through the incident, because you were just behind Aradhya at that point. What exactly happened? We saw a lot of cars just flying left, right, and center, but we couldn't track exactly what happened over there.
So I think both me and Aradhya didn't really take care of the delta at the end of the VSC. So at the end, we both braked very hard, right, going through the last 3 corners. And so that gave Moto and Black Sheep very good opportunity to go past us. And then I think Moto just missed his braking point while trying to overtake me and hit Aradhya. So yeah, I was pretty much saved there. And then after that, it was pretty much just me driving alone.
Well, driving alone or not, that gap, those lap times you're putting in was definitely dominant and deserving of the win. So big congratulations for you.
Thank you.
What is going through your mind? Why? Obviously, what Banath did was try to take the hards directly to the intermediate stage. But were you confident at the very start that it was going to be a hard to medium or medium to hard?
Well, I knew that the rain was going to be in the last 5 laps. So I felt that even the hards cannot do 20 laps without a safety car. So when I saw that the rain was at the very end, I just thought, let's just stick to the normal strategy and we'll see what happens after that. So basically, it was nothing doing according to the weather for me.
That's good. That's good. I mean, you looked unfazed. It didn't matter how much rain was going to come down. It didn't matter who was going to be your competition. No one was taking this win away from you. So great job. and I hope to see you in season 10 and as dominant as ever. It's definitely going to be the same game, so I don't see a reason why not.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Good job, man. Good job. So Haphazard, do you want to take the questions for P2?
Yeah, definitely. 8 Sil, my man, finally in the podium position. One hell of a race for you, 8 Sil, right? You've seen so many, incidents around you, but you kept your nose clean. And even in the end, you barely struggled in those wet conditions. So just go over the entire race, go over the incidents, what you had to do to avoid them as well.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit excited right now because I've been in so many tiers of IRC racing and I've never gotten a podium. And last race of this season, I got a podium. So yeah, it was really good, really fun race. I think it was more a case of just keeping it on track, keeping it clean, and just trying to consolidate and get the result in the end. But yeah, big ups to SD for clinching the championship in the end. Big ups to Helium for winning the race. And yeah, as you mentioned, there was some, let's just say, questionable driving occurring all over the field. And I was witness to quite a few incidents. But I'm super happy with the P2 today. I think that was the best possible result that I could have obtained.
Definitely. And let's say once, we saw Banat sort of staying out on those hards till the end of the softs. Did you ever think about your strategy, thinking that maybe it would be better if you were on softs?
Oh, yeah, I was sweating bullets towards the end. Those last 6 laps were a full sort of a strategic masterclass. Who was going to pull out the biggest masterclass? But I don't know. The rain didn't really come very hard all the way till the end, so didn't really have too much of a problem. Just keeping the pace on the mediums. Banat tried to go very late for the softs last 3 or 4 laps, but again he couldn't really keep the pace up. The track was deteriorating way too quickly. So towards the end, it was kind of I was kind of realizing that, okay, this might be a podium today. It's not in jeopardy anymore. So until the last 6 laps or so, I was seriously doubting the strategy, but yeah, I think it worked off in the end.
Yeah, it definitely worked off. You had an easy P2 there to bag, and definitely no contention at the very end there from Moto or Banat. And let's move on to our P3, our P3 position, Moto. Can you take care of this, man?
Absolutely. I'm always happy to talk to Moto. He's a good friend of mine. Moto, I've had some incredible battles on track with you in the past. I think you are definitely one of the most experienced drivers in IRC. And I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Helium, right? You were down in, I think, P3 at that point, or P4 when the incidents took place. Walk us through what happened. Walk us through what happened from your perspective. Obviously, I saw you go into the back of Aradhya, if I'm not wrong, and then Aradhya had a spin, and then somebody took off his front suspension. So walk us through to lap 1 for you. You're muted if you are talking.
Just realized that. Oh, okay. Yeah, that lap 1 was kind of atrocious. Actually.
So sorry. Forgot my manners. Congratulations on P2. Go ahead.
Thank you. That lap 1 was kind of atrocious actually. So there was a VSC called in very early. I don't know. So like as Helium said, I think I got the restart nailed like completely spot on, because I throttled out of Stowe right at the moment the VSC ended. So those guys had to brake apparently. So I knew I had the run into Vale and I took the opportunity, but yeah, mostly on my part, I broke very late into the corner, and unfortunately, Radhe was then. I sort of went into the back of him. What proceeded afterwards, I do not know who hit him and how he retired. But predominantly it's on me, so I completely own up to that. But yeah,
you at all. I was just saying that it was a circumstance of the proceedings that you went into the back of him. But yeah, I mean, drivers braking on at the end of safety car is never fun. Whether it's China, whether it's Silverstone, it happens.
Yeah. So I mean, the race just proceeded from there. My wing was just missing. I had a red wing for the entirety of the first stint. I tried to defend as well as I could. Surely did hold up quite a few cars, and I'm pretty sure those guys would be pretty mad at me, but it's all right. It's just racing after all. I just wanted to defend and hold my position. So yeah, I just proceeded from there, and then I pitted early for the mediums, hoping the rain would come and I'd get the first, be the first in the inters. But unfortunately, the rain did not come, and I was just bringing the car home from there.
That's a great point you bring up, because the defense that we saw from you was probably some of the best defense we've seen. I think Perez is the Minister of Defense for FIA, and you're the Minister of Defense for IRC. Definitely, that was an incredible first stint from you. Did you ever consider potentially letting the cars through and running along in their DRS, or did you feel you did not have the pace to stay within 8 Sills or King James's DRS?
No, that was never the question to let them through, because dirty air is there, and that compounded by my broken wing would just make it atrocious. The car was already aboard, and because of I was just trying to scrub my tires as much as possible, trying to get the car turned in. So I had to make an early pit stop because of all that. But my intention was never to let them through, always to defend as much as I could.
And did a podium possibility strike you in those laps? Did you ever feel that you'd be off the podium?
No, never.
That's the mentality of a champion. Hopefully we can see you on the top step next season.
Well, the champion's SD, and he's driven a brilliant season. He's been probably the most consistent driver in IRC I've ever seen. Like, he's just been on it throughout the entirety of the season. Like, maybe his pace was missing in 1 or 2, but then he would always take advantage of opportunities around him, and that's the true makings of a champion. And yeah, I'm pretty sure he fully deserves it. But yeah, great drive from him this season.
Great words from one champion to another. And Moto, hope to see you on the top step next season. Keep going for season 10. I think we definitely need to see you up among the best. Hopefully, I'll see you there too. I don't know, but
Yeah,
either way.
hopefully.
Either way, congratulations on a great P3. Definitely a hard-fought battle. That first stint was terrible to drive, but amazing to watch. And thank you for closing that out. So on to the Indian champion. Now we have SD. He may have finished 10th, but that doesn't matter. He's with us for the podium interviews, at least on the podium, to discuss this season. SD, welcome to the Hall of Fame, my friend, as a driver's champion. You have been a constructor's champion in the past. You have been Mr. Consistent, as Moto said this season. And tell me, when did you first think in the season that the championship was going to be a possibility?
Thanks again. Thanks, everyone. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I think it was a months where I think after Singapore, I would say. I mean, being P5 the entire race behind Moto, and the unfortunate incident that happened at the end of Moto, that kind of paved my way and figured that okay, everything is going everything is aligning to this WDC, and if I can at least be consistent and just continue what I did in the first half of the season, there is a chance. But yeah, at the end of the season, I think a lot of absentees, like I could not race due to family reasons and all that, and that kind of takes a toll on you. But I'm really happy how it turned out for me. Not happy with the race, of course. It was one of the worst I've driven experienced in my life. I mean, not having a wheel with you to salvage a finish of some sort in the points with a controller, it's difficult. But I think it was okay. Unfortunate with the incident that happened at lap 1. So it could have been a very different result if the incident didn't happen. But I'm happy at the end of the day everything worked out.
Well, as are we. Things worked out for you very, very well. So tell me something about the season. Now, obviously, the championship finale came down to you and your teammate, Black Sheep.
And Radhya, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Radhya, yes. There were all three of you within a race wins gap. But between just talking about you and Black Sheep, since you both are teammates here for a second, was there any point in the season where there were significant team orders? When I say significant team orders, where you feel that either Black Sheep let you through or you letting Black Sheep through, where in retrospect of you both of you being 1 and 2, you would not have done?
I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I think this season, every single practice session done, every single race attended, we both were on equal terms. There was no team orders at all. Like I think other than Japan, I think there was one incident where he had to double stack behind me. Entire races were actually very close between us. There was like 1 or 2 incidents that he was into, and some places where I was not able to capitalize. But the entire season was completely fun to drive, for me at least, and Black Sheep as well. I think if you ask the same question to him, he would say that. Again, it is a lot of things that I learned from him because he's quite he's very quick because he gets the setups right immediately, and I really like it. And I mean, getting that knowledge and trying to somehow make it to your style is very fun thing to do, to be honest. And at the end of the day, it's just a team effort. Of course, we won the WCC as well, and to be completely honest with you, he has also driven a very consistent season. He has also missed 1 or 2 races which actually hampered his WDC, but at the end of the day, I think both of us performed to the ultimate best we could have ever done, and I'm happy with both of the results.
I couldn't agree more. Now, just similar to Rosberg, winning one championship allows you to start giving a lot of gyan, right? So, what advice do you have to some of the very, very quick drivers in IRC who've been up and around there but never won a world championship? And what do you think is required to take that next step?
I mean, let's just get on the same level. You have to be quick to be.
Because most important question. You're not retiring, are you?
No, of course not.
Okay, good.
Let's see how bad life takes me. But again, I think, in the near future, I'll be there for a couple of years at least.
I was just making a Rosberg joke, but never mind.
Yeah, I understand.
That didn't.
But yeah, I mean, let's be clear with this. You need pace to be there in Tier 1 at all. It's not like just you can be miles off and still your racecraft gets in. But pace is number 1 factor, and number 2 is not to get ahead of yourself when you have that pace. You have to be you have to know that even if you're having a bad race, according to your standards, you still have to get through to the final lap. You have to cross the finish line. You have to do this for the entire season, let's say 10 to 15 rounds. That is the most important thing. not one race, not two races. You have to be consistent throughout. That is the biggest thing that I think is the differentiator between a champion and, let's say, a very quick driver in the league.
Quote Binotto, before Ferrari had 5 DNFs in a row, to win a race, you first need to finish.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a very valid point, SD. And as SD's magic advice is, don't get ahead of yourself, but get ahead of everyone else. So with that, I think that's a great point to close up on season 9. Anything else from you, Haphazard, from you, Deepak?
Yeah, I think you called it up pretty well. It's been a fantastic season from the drivers, a fantastic season from the IRC team, from the coordinators, from the stream head, Dan, who has been working quite meticulously on the stream weekends to get people to stream and commentate. So yeah, it's a really nice thing to see the season has come to a great end. And yeah, we'll definitely be coming back stronger for the next season as well. So we've got a new season coming up, and we've also got some special events coming up in the break. So if you're interested, you want to know more about it, want to get in on the fun, do join our Discord server. The link is in the description. We definitely like to see more people joining us and having fun with us. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great season. Amazing season between our rivals here, championship rivals, Radhya, Black Sheep, and ST, really going for it in those races. And we've had some amazing races this season, and hopefully these new cars, they've helped increase those racing potential. We wouldn't have seen the fights we saw today in our previous cars, so hopefully we'll be able to see something more in the next few seasons that we have on this game. And again, congratulations to ST and Black Sheep again on the constructors as well as drivers, and hopefully we get to see them come back even more stronger than before.
Absolutely. I think that's a great note to close out on. I just want to say on behalf of all the admins, obviously we have Couple and ST here in the VC as well. But on behalf of all the admins, big thank you to all the drivers. Wouldn't be a championship without you. But more importantly, all the coordinators and all the streamers, everyone who contributed to making each and every event the best stream it could possibly be. And for all of those of you who don't know, just watch some other league for a change. You wouldn't see the telemetry, you wouldn't see the planning, the coordination that's there for IRC. So with that, I think we have one of the strongest teams in league racing. So I'm really happy to be a very small part of that. And on that note, closing out season 9. See you all soon for the next season. We have some special events coming up, as Haphazard mentioned, but I really hope next season is half as interesting as this one. At least half as interesting. Yeah.
Well, right. So on that note, it's me, Deepak, signing off. See you guys later in the next event, and please don't forget to like and subscribe, and do join our Discord, and see you guys